Hello and welcome. This video is a PSA to my Disneyland Locals, my magic key holders that are making their first trip to Disney World. Now, you may think that you know the Disney parks because you are a local, but Disney World is an entirely different beast. So I'm here to give you all the rookie mistakes that you need to avoid so that way you do not ruin your first Disney World trip. The first mistake is not staying on Disney World property because you are trying to save money. If you are local to Disneyland, that means you are most likely a commuter, meaning that you probably drive to and from your own home at the beginning and end of every park day, or you probably stay at a good neighbor hotel because at Disneyland, it's a little bit different than Disney World. There are no cheap Disney hotels at the Disneyland Resort, but there are lots of good neighbor hotels, some of them that are within walking distance, even closer than the Disney-owned hotels. So a lot of people in Disney World are looking to save money. So they will go and look to try to get an Airbnb off property or stay at a hotel that's off property. But that is not the best plan, especially for your first trip where you're trying to get the full Disney experience. First of all, I don't think it actually saves you any money. If you are a Disneyland local, most likely that means you are having to fly into MCO in order to get to Disney World. So that means if you want to stay off property, you're either Ubering every day or you're gonna have to rent a car. If you're renting a car, you got the rental car cost. You have your gas cost, and you also are gonna have your theme park parking cost. Therefore, you're spending a lot of money that would probably just be better to spend on a Disney hotel. In fact, I might actually do a video breaking down the cost of staying on property versus off property. Let me know if you want me to do that. I am more than happy to. So I'm over here hyping up staying on property, but what are the benefits of staying on property? One, you get free transportation on property. If you stay at a Disney-owned hotel on property, you are gonna have some option of free transportation to the parks, to Disney Springs, etc. on Disney property, and it's very easy to access. There are signs leading you exactly everywhere that you need to go. You get earlier lightning lane booking. Oftentimes, some of those really hot ticket rides are booked up because you get to book them days in advance further than non-resort guests. You also get earlier dining reservation booking. That is a huge plus because some of those reservations, especially for character breakfasts, like at Topolino's Terrace, go real fast. You get early access to the park for all levels, and if you stay at a deluxe resort, you get extended evening hours as an option as well. There's a Disney dining plan that may or not break you, but that's also something you can do because you're staying on property. And lastly, just the convenience. The convenience is worth its weight in gold alone. What are these conveniences, you ask? You don't have to have a full rope drop to close kind of day. It's very easy to take Disney transportation back to your resort in the middle of the day, go take a nap, go hang out at the pool, or you can go to a different resort and just hang out, and then come back later all ready to go to get your evening on. Also, getting into the park is gonna be way easier each day. Wherever Disney transportation takes you, you get dropped off pretty much like right at the front gates. For instance, if you're going to Magic Kingdom and you had to take a car, you'd have to park at the TTC, trek through that giant parking lot and either take the monorail or a ferry to get to the front gates of Magic Kingdom. That's a big time suck right there. And you just don't really have to think. When I'm on vacation, I don't want to have to drive, I don't want to have to look up directions, I don't really want to have to deal with traffic. I just want to be there. Now, remember how I've been using the term on property. So some of the hotels that get these benefits that I'm telling you are actually not owned by Disney. They're considered good neighbor hotels and they get a lot of the same benefits. So for instance, if you have points for Marriott, the Swan and Dolphin are owned by Marriott, so there's that as well. They have Hilton's. There is a Holiday Inn in the Disney Springs area that's fairly cheap. And while they don't have like Disney-owned transportation, they all have some kind of free transportation that's gonna get you to and from the park. The next mistake we're gonna talk about is one that I only really learned after trying to do research for my first Disney World trip as an adult. And this might be a surprise to you, but technically, the cost of a Disney travel agent is already built in to your vacation package costs. That's because travel agents that book Disney trips are getting paid commission by Disney. So it doesn't cost you a penny out of your own pocket. That's already factored. So technically their cost is already factored in. So instead of you sitting there trying to check different dates to see which one's the cheapest, you know, price out your vacation, they can do that for you. If anything goes wrong in your planning process, they're the ones that can deal with it. They can deal with customer service, and they can even book dining reservations for you, which, let me tell you, that whole process is difficult. So I would definitely take advantage of that. So really, there's not really any downside to using a Disney travel agent. So I'll link down below the travel agent that I use for my Disney World trip and one of my friends who recently got into being a Disney travel agent, and she can help give you a quote as well. The next mistake that Disneyland Locals might make is skipping visiting the Disney hotels. So there's a lot to do in Disneyland. You have the 4 theme parks and even 2 water parks, which a lot of people don't even get to. But the Disney-owned hotels are also a destination. At Disneyland, we only have 3 Disney-owned hotels. At Disney World, they have over 20, and each of them has a unique theming. Some of my favorites are the Animal Kingdom Lodge, in which you can go see a giraffe on the savannah just casually. There's also the Grand Floridian, which is really luxurious, and Princess Diana stayed there when she visited Disney World, so that's fun. And there's also the Port Orleans French Quarter, which has Mickey beignets, which, you know, here at Disneyland in California, you know how much we love the Mickey beignets, and also a live jazz band that plays at a little club in the evenings. And some of the best meals that I've had on Disney World property have been at these places. The breakfast buffet at Boma, which is located at Animal Kingdom Lodge, is amazing for a character breakfast. The breakfast at Topolino's Terrace at the Riviera is also really great. And at a minimum, just walking around for the vibes is a ton of fun. If you need a break in the middle of the day, if you just need something to do maybe on your departure day or your arrival day, I would recommend going there. Some of these are a quick monorail ride or a Skyliner ride from some of the parks as well. The next mistake, and this is one that I made the first time I went as an adult, is not visiting Disney Springs. So our equivalent in Disneyland is downtown Disney. And while they're revitalizing it, kind of trying to, you know, make it better, it's just not really a destination. I don't know necessarily I would recommend that people go out of their way to visit downtown Disney. However, I would make some time on your trip to visit Disney Springs. For comparison, downtown Disney has a total of 24 dining locations. Now that's varied from carts, quick service, etc., but 24 total. Keep that number in mind. Walt Disney World has 68 dining locations. That's over double. And there's so many different places to go. Particularly, I really liked Wine Bar George. That was a really good time and a lot of good wine. For also a quick service recommendation, there's Gideon's, which is a very spooky themed cookie shop that has these really good cookies. I don't think they're overrated. And they even serve cold brew. They have cake. Now for shopping. At Downtown Disney, there are 19 shops total. Most of those are Disney themed that are just some kind of variation of Disney merchandise that you could also find in the parks. But at Disney Springs, there are 91 shops. 91. That is crazy. So there is so much shopping, there is so much dining, and for entertainment, while we only really have Splitsville, they also have a Splitsville. They also have a movie theater. They have Cirque du Soleil. There's a show there. Over the summer, they had a drone show over the water. And another fun thing there is that you can walk around with drinks. They have a lot of walk-up bars at a lot of these restaurants, and you can just walk around, hang out, and take in the vibes. I think that is amazing. And sadly, we don't have that in Disneyland. So that's why I think Disney Springs is a destination on its own, and I would highly recommend not skipping that. The last mistake that Disneyland locals are going to make at Disney World, and this one is probably going to be the most surprising, I think, and that is spending too much time at Magic Kingdom. Magic Kingdom is the castle park there. This is the most visited park in the entire world. You should absolutely not skip Magic Kingdom on your first Disney World trip. But what I find from a lot of people where Disneyland is their home park, they go to Magic Kingdom and they more or less feel like it's the same as Disneyland. And there's a good reason for that. So I just want to temper those expectations before you go. Now, they do have the better castle. It's very large. It's very pretty. I don't know what to tell you about that. So the main reason why it feels so similar is because there are so many attractions in Magic Kingdom that have a Disneyland or DCA equivalent. Out of the 36 attractions that are listed at Magic Kingdom, 23 have a Disneyland or a Disney California Adventure equivalent. Most of the rides there, you have some version at home. And arguably, a lot of the Disneyland versions are better, in my opinion. So there's not going to be a lot of novelty there for people who have visited Disneyland many times. So if you're limited in time, maybe don't spend as much time at Magic Kingdom, or if you have extra time, utilize that time to be spent at a different park. I honestly would recommend Epcot. Aside from the rides alone, there's a lot to experience in Epcot just going through the different pavilions. One exception is going to be if you have small kids, you're going to be spending a lot of time at Magic Kingdom because that's basically the place that they can do the most activities. All the other parks are more limited in terms of number of attractions that they can do or things that they would be interested in. So if that's the case, if you got little kids, Magic Kingdom's where it's at. If you don't have little kids, make sure you go seek out those experiences that are different than what you get at home. So visit Magic Kingdom, don't spend too much time there, but make sure that you see Happily Ever After because I love Happily Ever After. I hope that you can use these tips and give yourself the best first Disney World experience that you can have. Leave a comment down below if you're planning your first Disney World trip, and have a delightful rest of your day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.